Hi everyone. I'm wonderful. So I'm Desire. Today we are going to be making this dotted chevron, and if you can see here, I made a teardrop loop, and then it's a chevron, but it's dotted. You can see those tiny dots that are running down through the bracelet. Yes. So if you know how to make a chevron, this will be extremely easy for you. So now I'm going to get one string from this. Then I'm going to cut one long string because we're going to fold our strings in half. So we're going to get one long string about 60 to 70 something inches. I even figured out the pattern here. Then this one too, the same thing for this one, and well, this one, because we only have 4 colors. And then as usual, we are going to use a bit of white. So this is what we have, and we are going to first get started making our loop. Here you can see that I used light brown to make my loop, but I'm going to be using orange here because I'm going to be making a one color loop start. You can use brown if you want, then swap colors whenever you see me swapping. So now most people like to use forward backward knots, but I always use backward forward knots because I feel like that just helps me start my loops properly. So I made a backward knot. Now I'm going to make a forward knot. I made the forward knot and I pulled. You can see that I made one small knot here. I'm going to repeat this again. A backward knot, then a forward knot. I'm just going to tape. So now we are going to follow the exact color pattern that we did here. So the next thing I'm going to remove after this is yellow. After yellow will be white, and after white will be light brown, then dark brown. So I'm going to do it like this: yellow, then white, light brown, then dark brown. Okay, alright then. So let's get started. So I'm going to remove the yellow, put it on one side, and then I'm going to make another backward forward knot, make another backward forward knot, then I'm going to remove the white string, make another backward forward knot, make it backward, and then the forward part of the knot. Sorry, my strings keep doing that. Forward knot. Now I'm going to remove my light brown. I'm going to take my string and make another backward. Then now we're going to make a backward knot here on this string there. So this is what we have. We have a slight curve here. So pull this one out. Now we're going to arrange our strings. So remember, we have the yellow, then brown, then light brown, then dark brown. I don't think this is the correct order of the browns, but we're doing this either way. We're almost there. So move the white to one, the yellow to one side, make a forward and backward knot. See what I told you? It's not how my strings are gonna come loose. Forward, then backward. Move the white. White, and let's add the another forward backward knot, and then move the light color, and I'm going to make a forward knot here. Forward knot. So pull this one out, one, and then two. So this is what we have here. So now we're going to make knots in the middle, but I never make my knots like that, so I'm just going to make rows of yellow on the left side. So I'm going to make a backward knot here. I don't usually do this, so if it comes loose, you know that, or you can just chill, but I do not want to interrupt the flow of this to make this one more time. So I'm just going to make this knot now and see if it will be firm or secure before I try doing it again. So this is it. Let it loose on both sides. So let's get started. So now we are going to make we're going to make 3 knots, and we're going to make 1 over this one. So now I'm going to hold this 3 open like this so I can make knots on it easier. And this is going to be a backward knot, so we're making 3 backward knots and then 1 backward forward knot on our orange string, which should be our string in the middle. Now this also has just 2 steps like from a video with chevrons. So we're going to make one plain chevron, and then we're going to make almost a complete chevron, because you can see that I'm making a backward forward knot here, and you can see that I made a backward forward knot. And I'm going to leave this on one side here like that, and then on the other side, if you're good, we're going to make 3 forward knots and 1 forward backward knot. So we made 1, making 2 more, and after making the 2 forward knots, we're going to leave the last one because we're going to make a forward backward knot for our last knots. So this is the forward and this is the backward part, and this is what we have. So now we're going to use these 2 knots here, and I'm going to make a forward knot. So I'm going to make 1 forward knot with our orange strings. And if you can notice, we've already made this part here, because you can see our tiny orange that is sticking out from here. This is it, tiny orange sticking out from here. So this just continues. The next we're going to do is to make the whites, and then we're gonna make 3 backward knots and 1 backward forward knot, and then we'll have a white knot instead of an orange one. So I'm just going to repeat this step. So remember, take this 3 because we're going to be making 3 knots, 3 backward knots for each of them. Sorry, that means 1 backward knot over each of them, and this is pretty much easy. On this side, we are going to be making 5 forward knots, 1 forward knot on each, because we know we're making a row of chevron. So we've already completed the right, and now we're completing the left. So now we're going to take these 3 strings, even the whites alone, the one in the middle alone, not 1, 2, 3. Making 3 backward knots here. Making 3 backward knots here, and then 1 backward knot. And over this white string, we're going to make a backward forward knot. There. Now onto the next one. Now if you're going to segment like this, you put this white one to the side, and then you use this brown one and make 1 to 3 knots. But I'm not interested in doing that but I'm just going to show you so that you know how you can segment knot it. But I kind of like the way I'm going with it, with just doing one side each, because it feels like when I'm done with like one whole chevron instead of just like making half of it and then chilling out. So now we're just going to leave this one here, and then on the other side we're going to make what we need to make. So 3 knots, 3 forward knots here, making 3 forward knots here. So we're going to go 1 string over each of them here. See, that's what we're going to make. Then we're going to make 1 forward backward knot over this one. So this is 1 forward and 1 forward backward knot. Now move this string to this side, and I'm going to make a forward knot over the ones in the middle. This is what we have now. And now we're going to take this string and just go one over this white string, and we have completed that one. You see how easy that was? So we have completed this one now. So we're going to go from this side and we're going to make 5 knots, 5 forward knots instead. So 1 and then 2, 3, and 4. And 4. So this is what we currently have. And if you can notice, so this is looking a bit tighter than the ones I have. So we're going to keep going like this. So now we're going to stop here, make 1, 2, 3. Going to go over this right too, and remember we're making 1, 2, and 3, and the forward backward knot in this one. So I'm just going to do that quite quickly. Then 2 like that, and then take the brown in the middle here, make it backward now over it. There. That's what we have. So using this orange string, we're going to go over this brown string here. 1 and again. That's 2. So this is what we have now. To just go over all 5 on this side too. So if you notice something, that we started with orange and we're right back to the orange string, but that doesn't mean this is where the bow starts from, because it doesn't start from there. Now if I bring back the bracelet, if you notice that in this bracelet now, we've reached this part here where you can clearly see that I just finished the yellow part, and we just did this brown one that's always disappearing, but it's right there. It's right there. We're just like disappearing. So now we're going to go from here all the way to here. Once I get here, I'll stop the tutorial. Now if you notice here, we had yellow, then we had white, then we had brown. But from under this here, we have brown, and we have white, and we have yellow. So it's just like a reverse of colors, yes. So now we're going to start. Remember, 3 backward knots, 1 backward forward knot. quickly tell me what I like to know. So this is how far I've gone. So I've gone from like this place and I'm here, which is right where I should be. So you can notice that the pattern is repeating, because if I take this place here and I'm going back up, you realize that it's going to go from white to brown to dark brown, then yellow, then orange again. So I will probably meet you when I am going to make the ties of this. So now that we are done with our bracelet, this bracelet actually took me about it took me just 3 hours, a total of 3 hours, because I started filming around 1 and then I finished filming around 4:57, so that's about 3 hours, and this is it. So I am here and I'm currently going to show you how I made this triangle end. But I with the orange one, I ended with the brown one. Why did I do that? It's still about the same length, but because I started differently, that's why I ended differently. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to start with the left hand side. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more and then I will show you there. Is that better? I think that is. So I'm just going to call out the names of the knots I'm going to be making, so because I do not want to zoom out a bit more. So I'm taking the last 2 strings on the end here. We are going to take this one and we're going to make a backward forward knot over the string. So this is a backward, then the forward part, sorry, a forward backward knot. Staple tongue is the forward backward knot. I always mix them up. So now taking the white string, we're going to make a backward forward knot over this too, because it's the bunch together. So now we're going to make a forward, then a backward knot. As you can see, we're going up nicely. Now taking the next string beside it, which is yellow in my case, we're going to make a forward backward knot, the forward, then the backward knot part, and then the backward knot part. Now going on to the next part, we're going to make a forward backward knot, and make sure you make this one very tight because this is going to be our last knot. There. It's going to be our last knot. Now moving this away, we're going back to the side here, and we're going to make something similar, but instead of here we made forward backward knots, here we're going to make backward forward knots. So taking the 2 strings in bed, we're going to make forward, so a backward, and then a forward knot. So I'm just quickly let it tug there. Now holding those 2 together in a bunch, we're going to take the white string, we're going to take the next string, and we're going to make a backward and then a forward knot, and then taking the next one, we're going to make a backward and a forward knot. Taking the next one, we're going to make a backward and a backward, and then the forward part. Remember I said this part should be made tight. There, a lot of fluff there. Now I'm going to proceed to make twisted ties, and then my browns and this one. I think I made this because it was like all bright colors on one side, not dark colors on the other side. So I'm just going to make twisted ties, and while I'm making this, so that's it for today. We made a slight variation of chevron with a one color loop, and thank you, have a nice day, and bye.